Esther Buba is from Gade ethnic group, one of the indigenous inhabitants of Abuja. She says she had to leave her ancestral home as a young child to give way for the newly created Federal Capital City far back in 1976.
We are together living as a community, enjoying ourselves, our native land, our farmland, our heritage, our culture. Because I was still in primary school, then secondary school, discovered that our farmland was not easy. We go to farm, later on they say, it has been allocated to somebody, and you have to leave.
Nigeria's extant land laws gives the government the right to override the ownership of any land, provided it is in the interest of the public. But such affected landowner is entitled to adequate compensation and or resettlement. Just like Esther, many natives were dispossessed of their ancestral homeland many years ago with the promise of compensation. But years down the line, the president of the original Inhabitant Development Association, Danla Dijeji, says he and his colleagues still await government compensation.
If you want to resolve problem, you don't cut branches so that the root will die. Original Inhabitant Development Association has been talking, and the same government gave us a registration to have ourselves galvanized together so that Nigerian government will partner with original inhabitants so that we can uproot this matter from the root, not to be cutting branches. All other issue in FCT matter are cutting branches. If you are not cutting branches, go to the root.
A prominent traditional leader, the Sapeyi of Gariki, explains that the natives were given the option of either leaving the new capital city and joining other neighboring states where the city was carved from, such as Niger, Nasarawa, and Plateau states, or continue to live within the city and be ready to get resettled when development gets to them. The Sapeyi says the resettlement and compensation process is still ongoing. However, some bottlenecks appear to hinder the success of the process.
Due to some challenges, because normally when we are expected to be moved, at times there's some delays on some period of years, and the younger ones that were yet to be captured, they become men, and then they need to run back and also try to get their name and capture them. So that is why we still have some challenges in the area of resettlement.
The Director, Resettlement and Compensation Department, Federal Capital Development Authority, Perpetua Ohama, says efforts are in top gear to continue to protect the interests of the locals. However, funding remains a fundamental constraint.
First of all, I would like you to know that it is not easy for somebody to leave his or her ancestral home to another place. No matter what you do, there is always this ill feeling about it. People don't like it. It's not only the Gbagis, anywhere in the world, I guess that is always difficult. And in the case of FCT residents, government is trying its best. But with fund restraints, it's also difficult to meet up the standard we wish for them.
This legal expert believes that some of the locals may not be transparent in their dealings with the government, which makes their resettlement a difficult process.
You have people who have gone to sell their lands. Immediately they are told that the land swap is coming their way. They will then sell it to other people, and then now put the people's name as their family members, and then send it to the government. And when these things are audited, some of these facts become unfolded. And so you do not expect such a government. You don't expect the government to trust such a person. And then again, there are cases where the government legitimately does not appear to show the kind of concern that the locals expect from the government. So there's an issue of distrust from both sides.
Analysts are of the view that while the government prioritizes the primacy of the indigenous inhabitants of Abuja, the locals too should avoid shady land dealings.